Mr. President, Donald J. Trump, if you're watching this, I'd like to extend a hearty hello. And I know that your time is valuable. I'd still like to tell you just a little bit about myself before we move into the meat of things. June 25th, I stopped a mugging near the White House, which Secret Service will have a record of. October 19th, I covered the anti-impeachment rally on behalf of Free Press Failed. October 24th, I saved a woman's life during a medical emergency at the West End Library. October 30th, I sent the FBI an enormous batch of Twitter data regarding a person I believe to have sexually assaulted a child, as well as data on many of his associates. Finally, as the Epstein and impeachment stories came to fruition, I offered my Twitter data aggregation services without charge to Project Veritas and Judicial Watch, with millions of tweets gathered across more than 60 hashtags and a self-developed bot that is still running. I've done all of this while sleeping on a bench just outside your palatial home at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue Northwest. That's right, I'm homeless. My name is Jason Close. I'm a wrongfully convicted soldier. Prior to continuing, I would like to note that all salient points in the video, past and future, are verifiable. I assert I was framed for possession of child pornography by a malicious ex-lover that conspired with my malevolent mother-in-law to resurrect a years-old false accusation that my sister-in-law was coached into making at the mother's behest. I was prosecuted by an unethical duo of attorneys that had no problem lying, manipulating data, using intimidation tactics, or editing my record of trial to remove exculpatory testimony. Additionally, a CID officer committed perjury in regard to the search warrant served upon me. I was convicted by a zealot judge that was utterly unconcerned about the appearance of judicial fairness, evidently holding a grudge that the defense had moved for recusal on the basis that he himself was molested as a child. I was maligned despite the SVU prosecutor having enough ethical concerns regarding the case to recuse himself. Tainted irrespective to the data showing modified timestamps after the discs were in CID custody. Declared guilty in defiance of the prosecutor's own expert testifying that there is no indication that I had ever searched for, opened, or even knew about the illicit file in question. Sir, I was crushed. I did not stop fighting. While in prison, I veritably went to war with the JRCF administration. You see, I was not allowed any form of contact with my children, nor was I ever allowed to move to minimum security. Seething at these injustices, I pushed and prodded and pulled a judicial watch by unleashing the power of the mighty FOIA. I discovered that Fort Leavenworth had a long-standing post policy that disallows anyone with a sexually based offense their parental rights and any additional prison privileges unless they admit guilt. To put it another way, Fort Leavenworth is coercing admissions from prisoners by holding access to their kids and privileges hostage in blatant disregard of constitutional rights. Seeing my vigor, my fellow incarcerated service members were inspired. I have a dozen other shady cases from soldiers that entrusted me to fight for them if I ever went big with my own case. The most flagrant of these is an inmate whose victim recanted. The service member was formally instructed that he is legally unable to admit guilt since there was no victim, ergo no crime, and the courts would still not overturn his conviction. Others were convicted on tainted evidence, twisted evidence, no evidence. And one command sergeant major was even relieved for audaciously expressing his fact-based support for one of the accused soldiers leading up to that particular trial. Mr. President, that confirmation fiasco with Justice Kavanaugh resonated with me. The disrespect of your intent the Navy displayed over Eddie Gallagher's trident pin resonated with me. The ongoing bastardized impeachment resonates with me. It all affects me because good men, and I am including myself here, are being destroyed, careers truncated, families wrecked, in the name of people that get drunk on full righteous anger. Facts be damned. These are the type of people that will quake in their boots at true righteous anger. The smarmy bureaucrats that will piddle themselves when the piercing gaze of the law stares at the naked character. Although I would have voted for you, I'm not a Trump supporter in the rather tribal meaning that phrase has come to require. I am a president supporter. I trust in the mechanisms laid out in the Constitution, and I am ill at the perverted manner in which they are currently being mangled to serve an ideological coup. As displayed with Vindman, there's an insidious, insubordinate decay spreading throughout the armed forces under the guise of justice with the thought that they know better. It is to snare you, sir, and you have every possible resource at your disposal. As for us lowly peons, it is taking unsuspecting, innocent military members down in flames. In short, I serve and protect the Commander-in-Chief as the living extension of the Constitution. For myself, for all of my unjustifiably tarnished service members at arms and all of our families, I pose this question to you. Commander-in-Chief Trump, will you serve and protect your forces in the same way? I request pardon as immediate relief with a swiftly launched investigation into the corrupted UC&J process. We cannot remove this rot on our own. For everyone else watching, if you believe me or are curious about my story, I want to talk to you. If you are a reporter or a lawyer, I want to talk to you. If you don't believe me at all, then debunk me, prove I am a monster. I only ask that you do so honestly. Mr. President, unearth the serpents.